The Galactic Council chamber stretched across 3 kilometers of crystalline architecture, a monument to 10,000 years of interstellar diplomacy. Representatives from 847 species filled the tiered seats, their forms ranging from gaseous clouds to crystalline matrices, to beings that existed partially in dimensions human eyes couldn't perceive. At the chamber's center, suspended in a gravity field, stood Ezra Chen, human, defiant, and sentenced to death. The human known as Ezra Chen has violated Protocol 7 Alpha, announced Magistrate Velthor, his 3 heads speaking in perfect unison. He has introduced prohibited technology to a pre-contact civilization. The sentence, as dictated by council law for 8 millennia, is molecular dissolution. Ezra's jaw tightened, but he refused to look away from the assembled masses. His hands, bound by photonic restraints, trembled not from fear, but from rage at the injustice of it all. "I saved them," he said, his voice carrying through the translation matrix to every corner of the vast chamber. The Kaleth were dying. A solar flare was going to sterilize their planet in 6 days. I gave them shield technology. I taught them how to survive. "You violated the Prime Directive," hissed a Srathi representative, her serpentine body coiling with displeasure. "Pre-contact species must evolve naturally or perish naturally. This is the law." "The law is wrong," Ezra shot back. A collective gasp rippled through the chamber. No one challenged council law, not here. Not in this sacred space where civilization itself had been codified. Magistrate Velthor's middle head tilted forward. The human demonstrates the exact arrogance his species is known for. The law exists because younger races cannot comprehend the consequences of interference. The Kaleth may have been saved today, but what of tomorrow? What technologies will they misuse? What wars will they wage with the knowledge you gave them? "Better to have a chance at life than guaranteed death," Ezra replied. "Enough." Velthor raised one crystalline appendage. "The council has deliberated. The sentence will be carried out immediately. Let this serve as a reminder to all species." "Stop!" The word tore through the chamber like a physical force. Every sensor, every ocular organ, every consciousness present turned toward the source. A young woman had burst through the observation deck barriers, her form shimmering with the iridescent scales of the Kaleth species. She was slight, barely 5 feet tall, with large amber eyes and delicate features that marked her as one of the people Ezra had saved. Security drones converged on her position, but she didn't stop running. "Don't kill my husband," Grace screamed, her voice breaking with desperation and fury in equal measure. The chamber erupted in chaos. "Security. Remove that," Velthor began, but Grace had already leaped from the observation deck, her Kaleth physiology allowing her to glide on membranes that unfurled from her arms. She landed in the center chamber, directly between Ezra and the execution platform. "You can't do this," she gasped, her translator struggling to keep pace with her rapid speech. "You don't understand. He's not just human. He's one of us now. We bonded. It's legal under Kaleth law, and you recognized our planetary sovereignty 3 cycles ago." Magistrate Velthor's 3 heads drew back in surprise. "The Kaleth are a pre-contact species. They have no representation here." "We did have no representation," Grace corrected, her amber eyes blazing, "until Ezra saved us, until he taught us. We petitioned for recognition 6 months ago. Our application was approved. Check your own records." A holographic display materialized in the air, scrolling through bureaucratic documents at impossible speed. One of the magistrate's heads turned to scan the data, while the other 2 remained fixed on Grace. This is highly irregular," Velthor admitted. "What's irregular," Grace shot back, "is that you're about to execute a citizen of a council-recognized world without granting him due process. Ezra Chen took the Kaleth Oath of Unity. He married me under our laws. He is by every legal definition one of my people." Murmurs swept through the chamber. The Srathi representative slithered forward. "Even if this is true, he is still human. He still violated Protocol 7 Alpha as a member of his original species." "Then charge humanity," Grace said, her voice steady now, confident. "Bring Earth to trial. But you can't execute a Kaleth citizen for crimes committed before he joined our people. That's your law, isn't it? Isn't that the whole point of the Reformation Principle?" The silence that followed was deafening. The Reformation Principle was ancient, one of the founding tenets of the Galactic Council itself. It stated that any being who genuinely integrated into a new species society and renounced their former citizenship was granted a clean slate. It existed to encourage understanding between species, to allow for true cultural exchange. No one had ever tried to apply it like this. Magistrate Velthor's heads conferred with each other in ultrasonic frequencies human ears couldn't detect. Finally he spoke. This is unprecedented. The council must deliberate. Deliberate quickly, Grace said, moving to stand beside Ezra. She reached for his bound hands, her scaled fingers intertwining with his. Because if you execute him, you'll have to execute me too. And I promise you, Magistrate, the Kaleth people will not forget the day the Galactic Council murdered one of their own. It was a bold bluff, perhaps even a suicidal one. The Kaleth were a young species, barely spacefaring. They had no military, no political power, no leverage whatsoever. But they had something else. The moral high ground. Ezra looked at Grace, this fierce young woman who had crossed a galaxy to save him. You shouldn't have come, he whispered. They could kill us both. Then we die together, she whispered back, like we promised. The deliberation lasted 17 minutes, an eternity in council time. When Velthor finally spoke, his voice carried a weight that suggested empires had risen and fallen in shorter spans. The council recognizes the Reformation principle application. Ezra Chen is hereby stripped of human citizenship and recognized as Kaleth. The charges are dismissed, the photonic restraints dissolved. Ezra nearly collapsed, but Grace caught him, her slight frame surprisingly strong. However, Velthor continued, humanity itself will face inquiry for the original violation, and the Kaleth people are hereby warned. You have vouched for this being. His actions from this day forward reflect upon your entire species. Grace lifted her chin. We accept that responsibility. That's what people do for family. As security escorted them from the chamber, Ezra finally allowed himself to breathe. You realize, he said softly, that you just made an enemy of half the council? Grace smiled, her amber eyes catching the light. And we made allies of the other half, the ones who remember what it means to fight for what's right. She squeezed his hand. Besides, you did the same for us. You taught us the most important human lesson. What's that? That sometimes breaking the rules is the only way to do the right thing. Behind them, the Galactic Council continued its session, but something had shifted. A human had violated their most sacred law and lived. More importantly, another species had stood up and defended him, had claimed him as their own. In the ages to come, historians would mark this as the moment everything changed, when humanity's defiant spirit infected the galaxy, for better or worse. But in that moment, Ezra and Grace simply walked out of the chamber together, hand in hand, alive and free. And somewhere, in the cold mathematics of galactic politics, the equation had shifted. Humanity, fuck yeah,